Just messing around. Just play some ideas. I'm trying to light the world on fire. Things we're going to talk about today, and that's basically different ways to play scales. As I was playing around with it. That's like the sixths, and playing playing up in thirds, a second, and then 3 up, 3 down. They're all different ways to play scales, but if you break them up, they don't sound like scales. And especially, which I was trying to leave out, but I could throw some in, are like approach. You start throwing approach notes in there, which is on one of the lessons on my music channel, my Greg Silva music channel, on approach notes, which I'm going to be adding on to that. That's like the mortar or the glue that holds everything together. So you're not just so broken. You can basically be it kind of glues it all together, instead of being more jagged. But sometimes you're going for different things in different colors, so we need to have the different tools to do that. Practicing scales, it's like a lot of people practice them only in like a couple different ways, and that's it. Like I said, once again, this was lighting the world on fire thing, just trying to play some ideas and limit to only a couple, so you can hear what's going on, going back. You're going, oh yeah, I hear that now, and do your own thing. And you'll hear in other people's playing, some great players. And so basically, there's I call it two different worlds of playing scales. One's like the more traditional way, this way, and then there's another way, not as traditional, but really is. But people don't really teach it or practice as much. We're going to talk about both in a couple of different parts. The first way is basically seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, and sevenths. And even at a young age, you start teaching people stuff that. But for some reason, a lot of students drop off after thirds, running scales in thirds. And the rest are just equally as important until you're playing. And so we're going to go through kind of the first two little brisk seconds and thirds. Because a lot of people do know them. If you don't, please contact me at greg@gregsilva.net, SILVA, or through Facebook Messenger. Also do lessons on Zoom. And hopefully sometime in the near future, my home studio. Any questions you got, it's free. There's no charge for that. Zoom, please contact me for rates. And everybody's got to try to do something now, man, to get working. But so anyways, so seconds to basically just go back and forth between each degree. So that's like 1, 2, 1, then 2 to 3, 2, like so. Okay. And so on. And play these in position. 1 finger per fret. I'm playing this part of the bass right now. I like the sound. I like the sound everywhere, but really like the sound here. But for this, it really makes it comfortable because you avoid a shift. You can play it, all throughout. So then people basically go into one that's even more common, which is for some reason the second one, or third one people would actually practice. Octaves would be the first. Would be thirds. It's so common that like if the average person heard somebody playing it, they go, oh, they're practicing, aside from their house or something with the window open. And that's every third away or every other note. But try to think of these in the key, like through the chords, diatonic harmony, what's in 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, etc. In 1, what's the third? It's major. 2's minor. So that'd be -1 dBF. That's more musical. You actually get a little more out of that than just thinking distances, with the patterns. You're thinking musical. But at the beginning, what gets you through it, but really get into thinking that way. So that's basically... Okay, everybody's heard that. And if you haven't done it, definitely do it. But the people usually drop off, a lot of people. Most people don't. A lot of people don't, but a lot of people do. I can't tell them to... I think it's more of a, like, I don't know what kind of split, but a lot of people fall off from there. So the next one's fourths. And once again, what you want to think is, it's a fourth interval away, but you also want to think chord-wise, in the key of like a D minor, second degree. What's the fourth? G. Even if you didn't have your bass, you'd know it, But it is an interval. So for that would be... fourth from each. Okay, you can actually practice these backwards too, like reverse, not backwards, but ascending, but kind of descending. Ascending, but going like 4-1. Like that kind of thing. You can mix that up, or do every other, do that kind of thing. And then your next one would be fifths. Fifths are pretty cool. A lot of people practice on 2 strings. You could, but for this exercise, play it in position. And with all these, here's a keynote, through all these, work them through slow. Out of time's fine, like, okay, fourth, F, fifth and D is, you got to do that. That's cool. You're learning. That's called learning. The other one's called running it, kind of. But you do want to get it where you can slowly get it in time, play through all the keys, be comfortable with it, and get the sound and the color so you can actually use these. They're not just information. Nothing's worse than hearing a player who's got all this information and it sounds like somebody threw it into some kind of computer, because there's no soul and no music there when there's so much ability. But it's all this like mathematical playing. You want to use this as like an artist uses it, which we are, and you want to use it as colors and different flavors to get what you want across and what you're hearing inside. So fifths would just be fifths, and the shape, like this, the shape's going to change. So I have the the traditional fifth shape. But when you go to like the D, because we're going to stay in position, instead of going, we're going to. So that's a little different going that. Okay, just going up on fifths, and you could do these opposite too. Doing like 5-1 or to each degree. Practice those, start to get them through the key, start to get the sound together. We get together next time on the next installment. We're going to do 6s and 7ths, and then we're going to do the second side of the moon of these, which is basically another way to phrase it, to basically make scales into music. Have a great day, and take care of yourselves.